Hello, my name's Kevin. This is Dirty 20 Gaming, and this time we're talking about why I make so many notes when I create dungeons and adventures. It took me a while to figure this out that I take more notes than most people. I write more pages and pages of documents when I'm creating a campaign than a lot of people do. And so I started to think, why do I do that? What is to be gained by the way I do it? And I came up with a couple of ideas. The biggest one, the most important one, is because I want to create a very specific atmosphere and timing for the piece. And you get one shot to do that. That first scene of the first adventure, the way you lead it in, the language you use sets the tone for probably at least the first couple months of that adventure. You can create or at least hint at a mood or a feeling. To do that, one of the things I do is I script the intros to the first scene of each adventure, and I also script important plot scenes. If it's D&D, I tend to be wordy and I focus on the natural world. I talk about the birds and the animal noises and the smell of hearth fires and animals and the screams of kids playing outside. Whereas if it's a cyberpunk world, the writing and the delivery are much more staccato. They are short sentences with lots of metaphors and a minimalist use of words. I talked last week in that story about making different genres of games feel different from each other by using different language, and this is just more of the same of that. What it is, it's the intentional creating of a feeling that you want to permeate the whole game. It's important, and you only get one shot to do it. Like I said, that first intro sets the tone. So I script it to make sure I get it right. From that point on, the game obviously is improv. But for me, it's improv based on lots of preparation. It makes me a better improver because my towns have internal politics. People there like and dislike each other. And I know beforehand, and if I know beforehand, I don't have to think of it on the fly. I know how these people are going to respond to each other, and it makes it easier to role play those scenes when they come up. Because all I have to do is play the characters that I already know. I don't have to think it up during the game. Similarly, my NPCs all have at least a voice assigned to them, a description of what they look like, and something that makes them stand apart from everybody else. That's the absolute minimum that they'll start with. I want the party, when they walk into an environment, if it's a new town, a new city, a new spaceship, whatever it is, when they walk into that, I want them to feel like they're walking into the middle of something that's already ongoing. And the way to do that, and to make that world feel three-dimensional and full, like it would exist even if they weren't there, is to build it. And for me, I have to write it down or I'll forget it. So I write it down, I read it a couple of times, and then it's in my head, and then it's automatic. Then it's just filling in the blanks, which makes the improv during the game easier, makes it easier for me to focus on the scenes I want to do and the information that I need to get across, rather than worrying about this NPC that I just made up on the fly. Now, don't get me wrong, those happen too, and they tend to be a lot of fun, but I'd rather not every NPC be made up on the fly. It's too much work. On a larger scale, too, there are plots going on all over my worlds. Some of them, sometimes many of them, never come to light in the game. But if I don't write down a timeline and change it and keep it updated based on what the party does and what happens to them and what's happening in the world around them, I can't make that world feel like a big single entity, like a gestalt, like it's much larger than the party, and like to a certain degree it's completely ambivalent to their existence. It's going to go on whether they succeed or not. That's what makes it feel real, and to make it feel real for me takes a lot of planning. There's also a very, very practical reason that I write so many notes and do so much prep. I play 3 or more games a week, every week, and if I didn't keep it all straight on paper and remind myself what was going on and what happened next, I'd never keep up. So this one's pretty short. That's basically it. It's basically why I make so many notes and how it actually, doing more prep, makes me a better improver. So with that, thank you for listening to yet another technical treatise on a subject that very few people want to hear about. As always, until next time, game creatively. Bye.